We're gonna get right into it. Right. So, out of the days of our prophecy. That's it. That's it. All right, cool. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And we are here once again. We're going to get right into it. As you can see in the title, signs, wonders, and miracles. All right. And basically, this is the times that we're living in. You know, just as the scriptures say in Malachi, what's that, 3? That the Lord changes not. Matter of fact, let's start with that. And because of that, we know that the things he did in the past, he's going to do again, but on a greater level because he said he was going to do it. Right? He said he was going to hit this place with he was going to hit this Egypt with plagues like the first Egypt. Right? And how did he do that? Through signs, through wonders, through miracles. And wonders are really things that the Lord does that cause people to wonder. Right? In the New Testament, the key word used there is marvel. It says, and they marveled at this, and they marveled at that. Right? And that's what the Lord does. It's shock value. You know, Malachi 3 and 6. All right, go ahead.
This is book of Malachi, chapter 3 and 6, and it reads, For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Right. So the Lord said he changes not. That's why you'll see recurring patterns throughout history again and again and again, because the Lord pretty much, like if we look at what we're doing right now, it's kind of like being back in ancient Egypt all over again. Except this time the Lord is going to deliver us, you know, differently. But he put us here, right? We're in captivity here in Egypt. And the Lord is going to plague this place. He's going to destroy this place as he said he would. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. And then he's going to deliver us with the same deliverer, which is Yahweh Shai. Except this time it's going to be different. You know, this time it ain't going to be just the drowning of Pharaoh's army and, you know, just the kind of plagues that he hit it with before, but and this time it's going to be on a higher level. And these are all going to be things to be wondered at. Because just as ancient Egypt stood in a high standing as like a world superpower back then, so does America today. And the Lord is going to completely crumble and crush this place. So now let's jump to the book of Exodus, right? Just to go through some of these points on how the Lord did these things. And the Lord understands human nature. The Lord created human nature, as a matter of fact, right? Not only did the Lord create the intricacies of the human body, but also the mind and how people behave and how people operate. So the Lord knew very well that regardless of who the people are, he always has to show, for the most part, signs. But there are a special few that he gives faith, which is a shortcut, right? Where you can believe it without seeing a sign. But for the majority of other people, they need signs in order to believe something. I know something. Oh, let me see. I think I can send it over here. But you can find that real quick. Let me see. Usually send it by text? Email. Okay. You go ahead and read it.
There's the book of Exodus, chapter 3.
Let me text this to myself first. There you go.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 3 and 3, and it reads, Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law.
Right, now this is after Moses had fled from Egypt, right? Because he went and slew the Egyptian that was basically messing with the Israelite, and then they found out. So Moses fled and he went to dwell in Midian, ended up marrying, you know, a Midianite woman over there. and her father's name is Jethro, so he was keeping his flock.
The priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush.
So the Lord, and really the reason Moses ended up over there is because the Lord sent him over there, right? He was guided in the spirit to go over there because the Lord put in his mind to go over there, whether it was by way of the sheep, where the sheep went, or sometimes when the spirit talks to you today, it's kind of like having ideas, right? The concept of ideas is interesting because it's a thought that enters your mind, but it's not generated by you. It's like a thought that comes from the outside and enters your mind, and then you say, oh, I have an idea. Yeah, you have a thought that wasn't there before. How did it get there? Because the Lord put it there. And then sometimes it sounds like it's your own voice because, you have that voice in your head. When you read in silence, you hear that voice in your head, that thinking voice, right? When you think about certain things, it's that thinking voice. And sometimes the Spirit uses the same voice in your head, but different thoughts, different ideas. You're like, I know that's not my idea. So in any case, the Lord led Moses over there. Now we know what the Lord does, right? What verse is that?
This is middle of verse 2.
All right, go ahead.
And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
Now that's a strange sight. See, in today's day and age, you would have pulled out his iOS 17 Pro Max, put that joint on the 4K 60 or 4K 30 FPS, and then started recording, or probably went on live. Yo, check this out. Yo, this bush is on fire. You know what I'm saying? That's what this new age would have done. But Moses, when he saw that, go ahead.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight.
Yeah, he's like, oh, what's up with that? So let me see what's going on over here. So the Lord pretty much caught his attention because he wanted to speak to him. Go ahead.
Why the bush is not burnt?
Yeah, why the bush is not burnt. Like, if you were to take one of these trees and set it on fire, it's going to burn, right? Leaves, branches, and all. But imagine a bush that's just continually burning and burning and burning, and it's not being burnt, but it's on fire. Like this guy, Human Torch. When he does a flame on, he lights himself up, but he doesn't actually, like, he's on fire, but he's not burning. So in any case, Moses goes up there. He starts to speak with the Lord. And the Lord has instructed him on how he's going to need to go back to Egypt and go and deliver the Lord's people. Now, this is what he has. Jump to verse chapter 4.
This is Exodus chapter 4 and 1. And it reads, and Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice.
Right. So Moses said, well, Lord, you're telling me to go over here back into ancient Egypt, right? Ancient Egypt. It wasn't too ancient at his time, but go back into Egypt, the same place I had to flee from. These people don't even respect me. I mean, when I so respect me. It's an inside joke. But when he's like, when I try to help, try to be a peacemaker amongst them, they out here like, who made you a judge over us, right? You gonna kill me like you killed that Egyptian? No, they ain't gonna listen to me. Let alone believe that I you came and spoke to me and said all these things. And let's see what the Lord said in response.
For they will say, the Lord hath not appeared unto thee.
And that's the same thing they say today, right? When people don't believe that we're men of the Lord, they don't believe we're the actual prophets of the Lord coming back. One, because a lot of them don't even believe in reincarnation. But two, because they're not spiritual. They're carnal minded. So when they like, just it's nothing new. What's happening now is nothing new. You got these guys in the corners with their Bibles and stuff, and they're saying this, that, and that, but y'all just need to get off the street and blah, blah, blah. Moses said, Lord, if I go there and tell them that you sent me, they're not going to believe it. Just like people today. Jake today don't believe that the Lord sent us. Go ahead. Yeah.
And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said,
and that's like an actual, because the shepherds in the ancient world, they would have a rod, and usually would have a curved top, right? A little curved top over there. Oh, yeah. No, you're good. A curved part at the top, and that would be so that you can use that to hook if you had like a sheep or lamb that was going the wrong way, you use that around its neck to redirect it or to pull it back. Okay. So there you go. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and he said, cast it on the ground, and he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it.
Right. I mean, who would it? You got a stick in your hand. One second, Lord says throw it on the ground. You're not expecting him to turn that into a snake. Yeah, cool, I'm gonna throw it on the ground, and then the shit just turns into a snake, transforms. Like they show you in them Timu movies. The shit is a stick one day, then the sound effects, the shit transforms into a snake, all curled up, looking at you. What's up? You know? And you're like, oh, I mean, yo, because remember, Moses, it's not like he picked it up on some Leonidas, some 300 joint, and just like launched it, you know, like freaking 100 feet out. No, he probably just dropped it in close proximity. So now when this joint turns into a snake, that's a snake in close proximity. You're like, whoa. They probably do a little jump back, leap back. What's going on over here? Okay.
And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail.
So now it's over there. You see the snake. Joint is looking at you, or maybe he's looking forward, and the Lord says, look, grab that tail. Now you looking at the bush. A little bush looking right back at you. You know, I said grab the tail. You know? Matter of fact, no, go ahead.
And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand.
Yeah, so he did it. You know, he did it anyway. He probably reasoned, he said, you know what? If yeah, let me go get it. I think I got one in here. You know,
I'll just read it again. And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob have appeared unto thee.
You gotta look at that as a sign, because it's like, yo, here it is, like the brother was saying. I had a rod in my hand, a wooden staff, and then drop it on the floor, it becomes a serpent, and he says, grab it by the tail, and it becomes a serpent again. So it's like, yo, what the hell is that? That's like, yo, it was a wooden rod, then it becomes a serpent, then all of a sudden it becomes a rod again. So it's like, that would be a sign that, yo, like, this is the God of your fathers, that he's the one that's able to do that. Because you can best believe, like, when you continue reading the book of Exodus, that what you had the Egyptians, they were able to do similar things, right? Even when you read later on, like the Egyptians were able to take their rods and make serpents out of it as well. But what? That would be a sign that, yo, this is a God that's not like the other gods, that, oh, this is the God of our fathers, that he's the one that's able to do this. So, you know, Jake always needs proof and a sign as well. So it's like, look, if they don't believe you, this will be a sign that, yo, I sent you, like, I'm legit.
Not bad. You good. Go on. Exactly. So that's why the Lord did that, because he knew the nature of Jake, really human nature, right? A lot of people need to see to believe. And so the Lord's like, all right, I'm gonna show you something, you know, because words alone, but especially for these people, that ain't gonna be enough. Go ahead.
And the Lord said,
now even speaking on that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even speaking on that, guess what? The Lord had to do that with Moses, right? Because the Lord had to show Moses a sign by having and this is sign number one, having the rod turn to a snake and then back to a rod, so that he could have the confidence to then go and then show them some signs. You got it.
You know, I was gonna say, like, think of it even in modern times today. Just say you get a chick, I bag that. Show me how you got that. Then you gotta show them the text messages and stuff.
That's it. So the Lord's text messages is miraculous signs, things that only a divine power can do, you know, and that's what shows that, okay, this. Hey. God.
And the Lord said furthermore to him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom.
Now to put your hand into your bosom is like whatever he was wearing, whether it's a tunic or whatever. There you go. Shalom, shalom. What are you volume at? Over here? Oh. Make sure everything is up. Good. Perfect. So it's like if I put my hand in here, you know, if I had like a linen garment on or something, I just like put my hand in here. Shalom. That's your bosom. All right. That's within. That's like in here. If somebody's in your bosom, it's like you give them a close hug. You bring him in. So when the Lord said do that, he did it. And go ahead.
And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
Bam. Right? Pulled out the hand, pulled out the hammer, right? He pulled out the hand, and he's like, oh shoot. So imagine this, right? Imagine I put my hand in here and I pull it out, and now it looked like a part like an Edomite skin, pale skin right there. You know, and you like, yo, because you look at your other hand and it's brown. And you look at this hand and it's not. And you're like, oh shit. So that the Lord was showing Moses, like, look, I'm doing it, and this is in real time, by the way. Right? Like he's hearing the burning bush tell him this while he's doing this. And he's seeing these signs, and he's like, yeah, okay, all right, you got it. After that snake, and now this, go ahead.
It's just gonna say, you know, according to them guys from one body, this is not no witchcraft. This is all literal. Moses talking to a burning bush, which I believe Elder Apostle Tar brought information that there's actually a bush that is they actually lie on fire to a degree. Forgot somehow you make a fire, it'll just burn. It doesn't like the fire doesn't consume it. But also, again, the rod turning into serpent is all literal. It's not some spiritual thing. You gotta stop taking this whole, well, certain things is literal and then certain things is spiritual. No, that's the actual thing. Because otherwise, if it's spiritual, then why would Moses have reaction to something spiritual? That doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, I'm gonna jump away from something spiritual. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Good point.
And if it was spiritual, why would the Pharaoh's prophets be able to do the same thing?
There you go. Right, that's right. They don't think about that.
And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again.
So he's looking at it, and a part of his mind is, I'm hoping the Lord gonna tell me to put this back, because I ain't no way I'm going back to Egypt looking like this. You know what I'm saying? So he put his hand back in his bosom, right?
And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom.
Bam.
And behold, it turned again as his other flesh.
Now it's back to his other flesh. Now it's back to being the same. So now Moses is like, I'm sold. You know what I'm saying? Like, first was the burning bush, and the joint is talking to me, and now I'm seeing all this here. I'm like, oh, you know, like I'm sold. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign.
And on top of that, the Lord knew what he was about to have Moses do. Moses and Aaron, you know, in the sight, because the miracles they were performing that was affecting Egypt, everybody was hearing and experiencing it. Not just hearing about it, they were experiencing it. Right? Like if all of a sudden it just starts raining, you know, and on damn near all 50 states continuously, people gonna start wondering, like, yo, what's going on? And they're gonna start looking into it and finding out, yeah, there's some prophets over there that they commanded it to start raining, and then boom, it started raining. You know, and then they say, okay, no, now it's not gonna rain over here, it's not gonna rain over here, boom, it stops. Like these kinds of things that affect your life, people inquire about it, and they're like, yo, what's going on here? So the Lord having Moses and Aaron perform these miracles in the sight of Pharaoh against his magi's, of course, word got out, not just out of Egypt, but really in the known world, the region at the time. The difference is, though, in that time, these things weren't so far beyond belief like they are now. Right now, a lot of people, they would find a hard time to actually acknowledge and believe that these are real. Their mindset is, no, it has to be some CGI or artificial intelligence or something. But there's no way that this is real. Because, I mean, it's been years, it's been generations of their minds being conditioned to believe that this only exists and happens in movies, cartoons, anime, TV shows. That's the only place where these kinds of events take place. But we're living in a real world. Like, you ever wondered how all the things that exist today exist? How does a ladybug have a brain? Matter of fact, how did your body form? Was it with the brain first, the heart first? Like, what came first? Because All of these need to be functioning at the same time for you to really function properly. So what's going on? What was the starting point? And you have these videos where guys they'll catch these people on the street and ask them questions like that, like, oh, if you if you had to create a bee, where would you start? A living, to make it living, where would you start? And they'll say, oh, I guess maybe the heart. Well, I mean, the heart can't function without this. Okay, I guess maybe then I could start with this. Oh, but you need this you need the brain to tell the heart to do this. Well, okay, then the brain needs a skeletal structure in it. So then they start to realize how complex this actually is. And then you say, well, bees exist today. So who created them? How did that happen? The human eye, a camera is based on how the human eye works. At least it's trying to replicate that to some degree. And the camera is pretty complex. But people don't even understand how the human eye, just the eyeball, works. This tiny little part right here. Scientists and all their knowledge don't understand how it works, let alone the human body, to come and tell you that God don't exist. You had your hand up?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that that example you gave, I believe was something that it was years ago that we were watching. The guy was asking that question, and even he asked about the cow, right?
Mhm.
He's like, you eat beef every day, or you don't even acknowledge the bees and all these different things. You have to think of the intricacies of nature. And once you start to actually pay attention to the intricacies of nature, you become so overwhelmed by how detailed nature really is, and how each and every member of each and every creation is actually important. Once you start getting to that point, it humbles you. It literally does humble you, right? That's why you've had people who start off as atheists and scientists or whatnot. And then once they start doing their so-called research and scientific experiments, right, then they realize, oh shit, there is a God. And this whole Big Bang Theory thing is just, again, it's just a theory, right? It's never been proven. It will never be proven because it's just another theory that was made up by Esau as part of his deception upon the people's minds, right? To create this gross darkness that the scriptures talk about. Okay, in order for them to manipulate your mind so you don't think of spiritual power as a real thing, right? You're not going to associate these kinds of things to spiritual power, to the Most High, because you don't believe in the Most High. You believe in a Big Bang Theory, right? But once you start studying nature, you start studying the creatures of nature, you start studying creation as a whole from an objective lens, you arrive at the same conclusion that yes, indeed, there is a God, and everything that's created is done by design. Okay, nature follows a certain pattern. Patterns don't happen because of accidents. Okay, accidents are not patterns. All right, patterns happen because of a design, a carefully orchestrated plan set in stone to build a certain way. Okay, when you look at the Heavenly Father, how He gave Moses the instructions on how to build the Ark of the Covenant, you know, the instructions on how to build the temple, and so on and so forth, it was very specific. When Solomon was building the temple for the Lord, it was very specific. Okay, the high beams and the this beam and that beam and this oak tree and that's this timber and this and the gold, and it was all carefully designed to come out for a specific outcome. So that's the same thing with nature. And until people realize that, things in nature will always seem like an anomaly. Oh my God, this can never happen. No, you haven't been taught in your society that these things exist. Okay, for example, we were talking about this the other day about Leviathan. How are people going to react when they see Leviathan? That's the Lord's creation. Now, we believe that there's multiple Leviathans because it tells you in the book of Genesis that the Lord created male and female, created He them, right? So going all the way back to the time of Genesis, creation has always had it's multiples, right? It's not just one thing. Remember, when you read it, say the Lord created this and its kind. The Lord created this and His kind. So it's always varieties of the same thing, right? You have maybe the cat, right? The cat world. You have different types of cats. You have just within the domesticated cats alone, you have all kinds of different cats. You have the British Shorthair. You have the one that looks like Grumpy Cat, right? You got these other all kinds of different cats, right? You got the bald cats, the Siamese cat looking. You got all those creatures there. Those are cats. Then you go into the wild. You got the lion. You got the tiger. You got the leopard. You got the cheetah. You have the jaguar, right? You got the panther. These are all different kinds of cats, right? And then you look into the dog world. You look at the dog world, there's a whole bunch of different dog breeds all over the world, all over the place, right? You look at even sheep. There's different types of sheep. You have the ones that are thick wool. You have ones that got those big bubbly butts in the back. You got those. You know, you got again. The Lord has His ways of creation, man. Everything, and you see the Spirit of the Lord within each and every creation, right? There's certain trees you see, and it's shaped in such a funny way. You like, yo, the Lord has a sense of humor. Like, you actually planted this tree specifically right here to look like this. Like, there's trees in different parts of the world that look like a penis and a vagina,
Yeah.
and it looks like they're having sex. And you'd be like, yo, this tree, the dads look like, yo, that's good. How did the Lord, you know what I'm saying? The sense of humor of the Lord. Even how animals mate. Some of the like, you have a bird that will do a whole theatrical dance, like a whole theater to show off. And then once the woman is impressed by whoever does the best dancing and singing, she'll mate with him, right? Think about that. Okay, think about the dolphins, the understanding the Lord gave them, how they're able to navigate. Like, it's so complex. That's why we don't take these people serious anymore, because we never did, right? But we don't take them serious because the only place you're leading to is straight to Gehenna. That's the only place you're going to, right? Which is going to be here in the souls of America when the Lord come back. This is the land of Gehenna, man, and that's where you're going to be at. Okay, well, that's where a lot of these niggas going to end up at, man, because you don't see everything around you. You still say, "Oh, there is no God." That's crazy. You exist, but there is no God. Who the fuck are you? You were born, weren't you? Huh? The Lord created things around you so you can come in and inhibit and exhibit these things, inhibit these things. What about that part? You see? You give more credit to a person who built a house than the person who created the whole entire planet. Like, that's insane, bro. That's insane. But this is what happens when you go under the spell of Esau Edom. He throws away all everything that has to do with reality and common sense goes out the window when you're dealing with this devil. Okay, and they actually force you to believe the bullshit. That's Esau, man. All right, but get ready. You're going to see a lot more signs and wonders and miracles that's never been seen before, that's never been heard of before, and it's all done through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Your brothers got it.
Yeah, speaking of what Ron just mentioned, I just pulled up a list over here, which it just solidifies the point that much more, right? Because you have creatures that can do a lot of things that are like what we would consider supernatural, but they're able to do it, right? And Esau has technology that you consider super advanced that are based on these creatures' ability to just do these things naturally. The first one that I have here is the mantis shrimp, and in the movie, I forgot the name of the movie, something Power, and it had this guy Jamie Foxx in it. What's the Project Power? Yeah, and they would take this pill and it would give them powers. His power was like he was able to like let out some like massive like wave energy field. Now in this creature right here, this mantis shrimp, it says here why it seems supernatural. One, it says it's able to see colors that humans can't even imagine. But the main thing it's known for is how fast its punches are. Now, a mantis shrimp is very, very, very small in comparison to a human being. But it says its punches accelerate faster than a bullet leaving many firearms. So imagine how fast a bullet is. And this tiny little creature can let out a punch faster than a bullet leaving a freaking gun, or a firearm, which is wild as shit. With a gun, the second you hear the sound, you already hit. Sometimes it's so fast, you don't even know that you hit, until you're like, oh, this shit burning. So that's the mantis shrimp. The next one is the electric eel. We all have heard about the electric eel. But once again, this is able to generate, it says here, hundreds of volts of electricity from its body. Okay? And is able to use electrical fields to see in the dark. And it's just like that. Now you wonder, like, yo, how are you able to actually generate that much current or electricity from your body? There you go. There you go. And you're gonna tell me that that's by some random Big Bang? That's by coincidence, like Aharon said. It's patterns are not created from accident. The other one here is a pistol shrimp. Now this one right here, it says the pistol shrimp is able to snap its claw so fast that it creates a bubble that's hotter than the surface of the sun for a tiny fraction of a second. That snapping also creates a flash of light and a shock wave capable of killing prey. Imagine that, damn near hotter than the surface of the sun, for a tiny fraction of a second. And this is the tiny little what they call pistol shrimp. They also have another one here, which is an archer fish, and they said this is able to shoot jets of water with sniper-like precision. That's why they call it an archer fish. And is able to, as it says, knock insects off branches several feet away. You see a lot of these things when you watch Animal Planet, and they go into like, you know, this creature, and they watch it, and they, you know, they study it, and they're like, it's able to do this and do that. Like a chameleon can change its colors. Octopus can also do that too, to blend in with their environment. How do they do that? Once again, that's built in. You have the
Hey,
bombardier.
it's spiritual. Remember when we were younger, we used to always watch like Animal Planet, Animal Kingdom. What was the thing? It's called the Great Planet Earth. It was It was a documentary by I think it was David Attenborough. I think that's his name. And we used to watch this, and it was so fascinating, like seeing the creation of the Lord being brought on the screen, where you don't have to go into a wild to see this. You're watching it on screen, and you could see how look, brothers who have pets, we know the personality of these animals. Like, yo, they're not just animals; they have a personality. They have a spirit. That's the most important thing. They have a spirit. Where did the spirit come from? Obviously, it comes from the Father of spirits. He's the one who gave each and every creation in creature, every creature in creation. He gave them, each and every one of them, their own spirit. Okay, each and every it's the smallest dust particle has a spirit, and it's unique from the next dust particle. They're not all the same. That's bus head, bro. Like, yo, like the Lord knows each and every string of our hair. Like, what? And it belongs to you, because Esau could take that string and be like, oh, this person, this string of hair matches this DNA, so it goes to this person. Like, oh, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that each and every string of hair has its own? Yes, it does. It has its own spirit. That's why it grows. It wouldn't grow if it didn't have life, right? You have all these, again, everything about nature shows the handiwork of the Heavenly Father. And you got people who still doubt it. And I'm gonna let you go back to your examples of just looking at nature alone and recognizing that, yes, there is a power who designed this. He carefully crafted all this to happen. It's not by accident. It's not by coincidence. And anyone who says that there's a Big Bang Theory, you're basically trying to discredit all of creation that you still don't understand. The furthest form of you understanding creation is to say it came out of nowhere. You're a fool. Nobody got to talk to a nigga like that. And then you mean that we got to believe this. And we were taught this in school, right? Evolution theory, all this dumb shit. And I used to ask that, like, why is it a theory, but yeah, it's being taught like it's a fact? What the fuck is going on here? And they'll always say, well, we don't really understand when the kings billions of years ago and all this extra billions of years. Who has lived that long? Oh, apes evolved from monkeys to humans. I said, well, if that's how creation was, then we should have, over the time of people being on this earth, we should have at least experienced an ape transform into a human at once, maybe 1 or 2 times, to know that, okay, that's what happens. But we've never seen that. You never see a cat turn to a tiger. So how the fuck are you going to see an ape turn to a human being? It's not possible, because those are two different genetically different. Like they're built differently, right? A cat will never turn to a dog, just like how an ape will never turn to a human being. But they teach this shit to kids, and people believe this shit like it's real. No, it's not real. It's never been real. It's called a theory, and it's all made up. It's all going into the pseudoscience. That's all pseudoscience, man. Okay, I got a quick one. This is a bird called the sooty tern. SOOTY tern, right? You switch out the S with a B, right? It says they can fly in the air straight, 3 years straight without touching earth, touching water, none of that. Just in the air for 3 years straight, man. 3 years straight. How? Who? What kind of power do they have in their wings to keep them afloat for 3 years straight like that? Right? You got other birds that go on for months. They got the all kinds of different, like a common swift can go up for 10 months straight without touching no trees, none of that. Okay? So just think about that. Like, the Lord has creatures within creation that shows him being the creator. Like, it shows his touch. It's just magnificent, man. But Bakar, you got it, bro. Salat.
Yeah, no, you good. But yeah, just like that. I think there's a couple more I have on the list over here.
Yeah, real quick, before you get that, Zaquan posted something in the chat. He said, that's why the Lord Yahweh is going to disturb nature. Signs in the sun and the moon. Science can't get around that. LOL. Yeah, because That's again disrupting nature. That's why these experts are always going to be baffled, because it's things that's never been recognized before. Like, we didn't know that water could do this. We didn't know that fire could actually burn a whole entire continent. Like, damn, like, we didn't know that. We didn't know that the sun could turn this color and the moon could do this and it would be just pitch black. And we didn't know that. We didn't know these things could happen. Yes, because they have spirits that answer to the Heavenly Father, right? You understand that the Lord had the sun go back. What king was that? Was it Hezekiah or Zedekiah? Hezekiah, right? And he asked the Lord, and what did the Lord do? He said, I'm going to dial the sun back, right? How many degrees or something? He dialed it back, you know? It's like, oh shit, like, it's a light thing for the Lord to do this, but this right here, like, nah, he dialed the sun back. Let it go back. Like, how? Lord, what? Because those are all, again, creatures in creation answer to the Creator. No matter what you do, no matter how you look at it, there ain't no such thing as we're just gonna be the created happen, but there is no creator. Like, you out your monkey ass mind, bro. There has to be everything comes from somewhere. Everything comes from somewhere, man. All right, and until people realize that, you're always gonna be in the dark, just sitting there waiting to eat missiles, man. But y'all brothers got it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I got one more here. This was real interesting. This is called the immortal jellyfish. And it says this one is able to revert from adulthood back to its juvenile stage, effectively resetting its life cycle. It is the closest known animal to biological immortality. So without external force to like harm it, in terms of like how human beings are able to just grow, you get old and that's it, you die. With this jellyfish, it can grow, get old, and then go right back to when it was young again. And as long as nobody harms it and is able to still get its food and whatever, it can just keep on doing that. That's why they call it the immortal jellyfish. Because biologically it's designed to be able to just continue to live on and on and on and on and on. It's crazy, but it's possible. And how they actually do these things, hey, you know, we don't know, but the Lord created them that way. So when the Lord tells us we're going to be able to do certain things that seem, you know, out of this world, how was Yahushua able to walk on water? How was Peter able to walk on water? Like, what was the mechanics behind it? No, we don't know that. But the Heavenly Father, through faith, he was able to do it. So the Lord is showing, as he's done in the past, and he's going to do again now, these signs and wonders and miracles. Okay, and this time is going to be the time like never before. Goes both ways. It's not just in the evils, but it also goes to the miracles and the deliverance and the awes, the shock value that the Lord is going to bring upon the earth, just as he did in ancient Egypt. You got it.
Got a quick precept here. Going back to the point you just made. All right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26. Now it all makes sense why the Lord told the Israelite man that ye are gods, right? But ye shall die like the princes of this world, right? Ye are gods is quite in the literal sense that we are literally the rulers or have dominion over the entire planet Earth, and including all of creation. All right, the Lord made us lords over creation, starting with Adam. Okay, let's get that real quick. This is a book of Genesis, chapter 1, and verse 26. It says, and the powers said, right, that word God there will be Elohim in the Hebrew, which means powers, right, in plural form. It says, and the powers said, let us, right, because if it was God only speaking in the book of Genesis, which the book of Genesis, the first chapter, you don't see the Heavenly Father at all. He doesn't make his appearance until the second chapter. And it shows you that even Esau would depict that in his movies, where the main character, the OG, what they call the final boss, you don't really get to the final boss until like you get to like towards the ending part. Like, it's like, oh, this is the guy. Now I see why it was such a build up to get to him. Yeah, it's a build up to get to him, man. Right? So Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, it says, and the power said, let us make man in our image. Right? That's the first thing, in our image. So what do we look like? When you see us physically, we look like how the Heavenly Father looks like. Okay, if he was to appear in a physical form, like Yahushua appeared in a physical form, he looked just like us. All right, he looked just like a regular Hebrew man, a regular man. Okay, and that was part of the reasons why he didn't get that adoration, right, that he will get in his due season, man. Okay, because he was disrespected, he was looked down upon. Why? Because of what he looked like. Okay, his physical appearance, right? It says, after our likeness, right, meaning your spiritual fervor, right? You look at how an Israelite man will deal with a woman, or how he will deal with his children, or how he deals with nature in general. It goes so much more like how the Heavenly Father deals with creation. Okay? So it says, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Okay? So when you read all that, just understand that, oh shit, the Lord gave man dominion, meaning when you go into that word dominion, right here it says lordship, sovereign or supreme authority. Okay? It says dominion, rule, power. Okay? Ownership. Okay? To be a master. Okay? Power of control. Okay? So everything is at your disposal. You do as you please with all of this right here. The Lord created everything. He says, this is for you. Have dominion, have rulership, have control over these things, and use it. This is for you, for your benefit. Use it to how you see best fit. According to the laws I've given you, use it. Okay? So when you think about that, don't you think the Lord will give us more power than everything that He's created for us to have power over? You think about the immortal jellyfish. We have power over the immortal jellyfish, but do we have the abilities of an immortal jellyfish right now? No. But that's another inkling. That's another glimpse of the Lord showing us, if I have this in my creation, how much more for you? I created you to have power over all of these things that I've created. So when you see some of these things, don't be baffled by it. Don't be baffled by the fact that you have a bird that could fly for 3 years straight. Guess what? You're going to have the power to do that too. Don't worry about that. You have power over that bird. I'm going to give you more. You could fly for 100 years if you wanted. I'll give you the ability to do that, right? Oh, you want to go under the ocean to the deepest part of the ocean where Leviathan dwells? Don't worry. I'll give you the power to be able to do that. Right now, I'm not going to give Esau that power. If he tries going down there, guess what's going to happen? The pressure down there is going to crush him. He's not going to be able to do that. But what separates you, what makes you a god? Because Esau is not a god like you are. So here, I'll give you that power. You can do that. You see, that's separate. You know how many, what are these other nations going to say and describe the men of Israel? Yo, they can actually go into the deepest part of the ocean with no lifeguard, none of that. Like, they can just go, boom, just like that. Just like how we talk about the angels today. Yo, an angel could come in with a chariot and just a split second, boom, stop. Drop into the ocean with not making a splash, right? Fly up in the heavens, stop, pinpoint, and boom. Like, we talk about that. We're like, oh, shit. Why? Because our physical bodies can't do that. So it's hard for us to imagine that happening, right? It's like, oh, shit, if we can't do it, that means it's impossible. But no. All things are possible. You just have limitations. Once the Lord gives us that power, He's going to lift those limitations. We're going to be able to do all these things, right? Everything, because we're built from the elements of the earth. So we're going to be able to have power to be able to manipulate the elements of the earth in our favor. Okay? We're going to be able to do, what's that punch that the fish that could do that punch shit? We're going to be able to do that. Right, it's gonna be like a bullet. Brother gonna punch you shit, you out of there. You rather get hit by 10 bullets than a brother with a little flick of his finger. You know what I'm saying? Flick a pebble and it causes more damage than a fucking a 50 caliber. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's so like it's like infinite blessings that we're about to receive very soon, bro. Just that alone. How much more everything else that comes with it? We need eternity to enjoy the creation of the Lord, bro. Like, that's insane. That's so crazy, you know. But I just want to just add that in there. So like, I think there's a little bit more right here. Genesis 1 verse 27 says, so the powers created man in his own image, in the image of the powers created he him, male and female created he them, or they them. Verse 28, and the powers blessed them, and the powers said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. All right. So we have dominion over Leviathan. That includes Leviathan, man. You see? But trust me, ain't no brother. I know I'm not going to see Leviathan in the deepest part of the ocean and be like, yo, I have dominion over it. Not right now, bro. We're going to be later in the kingdom. We're going to talk. But right now, you just stay down there and do what you got to do. I will talk later. You brothers got it.
Yep. So where we at with it? Oh, let's get another example of that, right? The signs, the wonders. That's why we started with Malachi, right? That the Lord changes not. So the things he did back then, he's going to do it. He's going to do again, but he's going to do it greater. The Lord said he was going to do it. Look, the Most High and Yahushua, they're not men that they should lie. Okay, the Lord, literally, the Heavenly Father has zero reason to lie. Think about it. Why do people actually lie? Like even from when they learn, from when children learn to lie, in what cases do children lie? They lie when they're going to benefit from it, whether it's to escape punishment or it's to get something off of somebody else, or even as a joke. They lie, but it's for that reason. But if they could get whatever it is they were trying to get without lying, they wouldn't need to lie. See? So with the Most High being the Most High and as powerful as he is, he doesn't need to lie. What the hell he gonna need to lie for? I did tell you this, but I kind of lied. What's the Most High gonna do that for? Everything is already under his control, right? And so when the Lord says that he's gonna do something, that's exactly what he's gonna do. That's the pride of his reputation, of his name, is that he does what he says he's going to do. Isaiah 55:11, right? His ways are not our ways, and neither are our thoughts his thoughts. But when his word does go out, it doesn't come back void. It accomplishes that which he has sent it to. So go ahead.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 14 and 10. And it reads, and when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them.
Yeah, so now they were in a position, what you would say, between a rock and a hard place. And now the only possible ways are, at least what some of them thought, which would be suicide by going straight into the water, or behind them, running right back to their captors. What do you do now? Go ahead, go ahead.
And they were sore afraid.
Mm-hmm. And now, pause right there. They were sore afraid. Put that into context. Being sore afraid today there's a difference between scared and being terrified. Okay? When you're sore afraid, you're terrified. You're literally at the point where you're just like, you're almost paralyzed with fear. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what to do. And that was them. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness?
Yeah, so there they go. They start in their last few words, at least in their minds, they start going back to their unbelief, their scoffing. Oh, you brought us here to die because there wasn't enough graves in Egypt. Why didn't you just leave us there to die over there? Go ahead. Now, keep in mind, practically speaking, it wasn't all Israel that said this. All right, there were voices in there that were talking like this, the faithless ones, okay? But in totality, they were crying on to the Lord. Go ahead.
Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians?
So now they you know, when you just barely convince somebody to do something, and then the slightest thing goes wrong, and then they're just like, I told you. Oh my God, see, I told you shouldn't have done that.
Like the woman, and when Alicia said she was gonna give birth to a son.
Yep. I was fine being a widow. I ain't need no son. Now you done give me a son, and now he's dead. Put me in more anguish. You know, it's like giving a baby a lollipop and then taking it away. Now they tweaking even more. Right? So that's what they're doing. Oh, we told you to just leave us in Egypt, and now you done brought us out here, and now we about to die. You pulled the game on me last time, gave some more of that high. Go ahead.
For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
Go on.
And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord.
That's the part right there, because the Lord was about to perform a great miracle and show a sign. That's why Moses said that, right? Fear ye not, stand still, and what?
See the salvation of the Lord.
See the salvation of the Lord. Go ahead.
Which he will show unto you today.
Which he will show unto you this today. And likewise, we're about to be put in a lot of different situations where the most simple thing is the most difficult, which is stand still. Let your faith do the work, which is really by trusting in the Lord. The water. You know, but we're gonna be put in certain situations where you can't do anything about it. And that's because you're not at the point of deliverance yet. The water, go ahead.
For the Egyptians, whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
Yeah, and now keep in mind, the road to deliverance or the road to salvation doesn't look like salvation. All right, that's the whole point. When you're the road to salvation for the three holy children, the road to salvation for the three holy children was them being about to be thrown into a midst of a fiery furnace. That was the road to their deliverance. The road to deliverance for Daniel was being thrown in the lion's den. You know, so the road to deliverance doesn't look pleasant, but that's the point. That's where that's what creates the avenue for the deliverance to come in the first place. Go ahead.
Kind of reminds me of when Elisha told, was it Naaman or Naaman's servant to go dip in the Jordan?
Here's the Ammon, yeah.
And when he went to Elisha, he was expecting some grand theatrical miracle, but he just told him to go dip in the river 7 times. And then his servant was like, if he told you to jump off a cliff or something, you would do that. But this small thing you won't do.
Yeah. If he got mad. He like, well, man, if that's all I had to do, I would have done it. And then we got better rivers over there where we from. I would have just dipped over there. It came all the way here, and you telling me just go dip in the river 7 times. But that's the simplicity, which is too complicated for the simple-minded. Isn't that interesting? The simplicity is too complicated for the simple-minded because they expect something grandiose, and if it's not grandiose, it can't be real, it can't be true. Bro, you know, simple is better. Who wants like? You Jake act like if the Lord told him he gotta bungee jump off of Mount Everest, you know, land on your back, broken bones, live paralyzed for 3 years, and then get healed, and then go live with freaking 3rd-degree burns, and then get healed, and then be saved, as if they would want that instead. The way they speak so doubtfully about having faith because it's so simple, you would think that they want harder choices. You got Jake that fights so hard just to prove that hell is real. Do you want to go to hell? Because I don't think any of us here want to go to a place where you burn forever. So why the hell are you fighting so hard for it to exist? If anything, you should be in denial, fighting against it being in existence. But you wonder what's going on through their mind. So if hell's real, who's going there? You want it to be real for somebody else to go there, but you don't want to go there. Look at this guy over here. So going back to this point right here, it's too simple for them. He told them, look, go dip in there 7 times. I mean, shit, if that's all I have to do, hell yeah, I'm happy at that. If somebody told you, look, all you gotta do, you want $1 million, pluck up one of those that grass right there, go put it in a jar, and just go put it in your room somewhere. 3 days later, it's gonna turn into a briefcase full of $1 million. People gonna be like, hey, I ain't doing that shit. You ain't doing that shit. What did you want me to tell you? Go work for Esau for like 10 years and then you get $1 million? Which is the better deal here? So ain't no winning with Jake.
Tom reminds me of that show called Fear Factor, where people are going that show with ridiculous things to get money. Some of them eat cockroaches. They'll be put in a box with like a whole bunch of snakes on them and things like that. And like, this is what you do for money when you just go to work, stack up your money and just save up. But you'd rather do this. Yeah, I remember I used to watch. They eat coagulated blood, a cow eye, and stuff like that. It was some weird stuff. And I'm like, I couldn't do that shit. Like, you wouldn't do that for such. Why the fuck would I? You know what I'd be like? I'd be known as the dumb nigga that went on Fear Factor. You ate some cow dick. That type of shit. Let's say you don't win. Then it's like, oh yeah, so you ate some cow dick. Like, come on now.
Poor choices, man. But that's what Jake's gonna do. Nah, it's a simple way. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try that out. Like there's an episode. This shit was crazy. I sent you the link, but it was an episode of the Boondocks where Granddad wanted to get famous because he thought somebody swindled him It was like kind of like a Tyler Perry kind of spinoff. So it was really a dude, right, who would dress like a chick on stage and shit. And she was like, "Yo," he was like, "Yo, you come and join in this play." And in this play, there's a scene where we got to kiss. So you join in this play, and if you do good, you go viral. You gonna have the Beyoncés and the Rihannas and everything you want. This day, granddad gonna go in there. So Huey and Riley come to the set where they rehearsing, and you got all these. You got literally dudes in freaking speedos oiled up in the background, and you got granddad with his shirt off, his freaking big dad bod, big beer belly and shit, oiled up, about to get into the scene. And they're like, yo, you can't do this. And then granddad like, no, this is what I want to do. He gave a heartfelt speech and everything. Come to find out, the day of the debut, this guy actually goes forward. He goes through with the scene. He goes through with the scene, fucking kisses this man and shit. And then after that, he's like, he goes to the backstage locker room. He's going for his surprise, right? He opens the door. The dude, he just pops some confetti in his face, like, surprise. Granddad standing there waiting for the rest of shit. And the dude's like, yeah, nah, that's kind of it. He's like, what you mean? Where the Rihannas and all that shit at? He's like, look, man. Yo, what's that? Aaron McGruder? Yo, he's hilarious. He basically, so the guy's like, he got the costume off and shit. He's like, look, man. He drops his pants. Can I just get some ass, man? Granddad's like, you did all this shit to deceive people just because you want some ass. And then he left. But once again, going back to the point, which is he did all that shit just because he wanted to get famous. And Huey was saying, he's like, yo, is it really worth it? He said, yes, it is. All this dumbass shit because he didn't want to, whatever. There's many ways you can be famous. You can think of something creative, but he wanted the quick access. I just got to do one scene and then I could go viral. Okay, I'm all for it. But it's not. Usually people have a sense of like, caution in their heads, which is like, I don't know if that's really true or not. But what Esau has done over the years is he's conditioned you to say, no, it's not a trap. It's okay to do it. He's made you dumb. He's dulled your senses and he's weakened your defenses and your ability to think. So now, even though your conscience is still like, yo, that shit don't even make sense, your brain ain't even up to par to comprehend why it doesn't make sense. Fuck it, I'll just do it anyway. Who cares, right? YOLO. And then you go and end up with freaking 10 STDs, and now you're wondering how you got here in the first place. But anyway, let's go back to where we at.
This is Exodus 14:14, and it reads, the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace.
Yeah, the Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Go on.
And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward.
Yeah, so he was setting up the sign. Because now you got to picture it, right? You got this big, you ever stood before a body of water? Maybe you're looking at the Hudson. Maybe you're looking at some big body of water, right? You just standing there looking at it, and you're like, damn, man, if I ever had to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be a battle right here. So you're looking at it, it's looking at you, and you're looking back at it, and then the Lord is like, why are you coming to me? Go forward. Go forward. Look, Lord, you done told me a lot of stuff in my life, but this one got to take the crown for it. You know what I'm saying? The serpent was one, and all that, but like, go forward, But that's what the Lord knew why he told him that. Now, really think about it, right? Would the Lord tell Moses to go forward if he didn't have a plan? No, because you think the Lord's saying go forward, but he doesn't know that the second you step in the water, you might drown, or there might be some dangerous animals or sharks and stuff in there. You think the Lord didn't know that? Or think about it? So if he tells you go forward, well, there's a reason why he said go forward. Yeah.
But lift up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it.
So now, this is very interesting. The wording the Lord used over here. This is very interesting. The Lord didn't tell Moses, stretch out your hand and the water is going to become divided. He says, stretch out your hand and divide it. If somebody tells you that's an action, that's like saying, yo, can you pass me that? When I tell you to pass me that, it's in your power to do it. So I'm already speaking as though you have the power to do it. So it's like somebody coming up to you and say, yeah, go over there and lift up that car for me. Lift up that car for me. That's different than saying, go over there and stand there and the car is going to go up. Because that's like, all right, when you get here, something is going to happen. versus go and make something happen. See, so when the Lord told Moses, stretch out your hand and divide the water, meaning I've given you the power to be able to do so. It's not a foreign concept for the Lord. But I mean, for us, we didn't grow up dividing, you know what I'm saying, bodies of water. Somebody tried it in Africa and the wave tried to attack him. Send his ass running right back to the shore. But he won't do that no more. Go ahead.
Hey, but what makes it even heavier is when you actually think of the reality of it, right? Because we could think about it like, okay, you could use your imagination, and then with imagination, you could arrive at any answer. Like you think of a body of water, right? You're like, okay, well, a body of water. You think of the Hudson River. Okay, well, that's pretty vast. You know, imagine crossing it. Like shit, that's heavy, right? Because that shit is deep too. Like imagine the water just dissipates. You could see how deep that it is, because you could see the waters on one side raising up and the other side also raising up, so you can have that space to walk through. And then not only that, it's not just water that's like it turns into ice. It's still flowing. It's up erect like a wall, but it's still flowing. You can still see the fishes and all that. You're like, yo, this is what a scene, right? But the actual crossing where we all crossed was the Gulf of Suez, right? And when you look at it, the Gulf of Suez, depending on where you're standing, they estimate that it's about 5 to 6 miles. All right, yeah, 5 to 6 miles from one end to the next. So imagine you got all these children of Israel behind you, and then you call upon the Lord, and then He says you about to cross another 5 to 6 miles. So get ready. Just lay your staff, and then just go from there. Point it out, and just walk. That's a long walk, man. Some say 2 to 3 miles, depend on the angle, like the point of the bank of the river to the end. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where we passed, you got anywhere from 2 to 3 miles to about 5 to 6 miles. Okay, so that also puts into perspective what we're talking about, the greatness of the deliverance of the Lord. Like, oh shit, like that's a lot of walking. You got all your people. Imagine walking all that. And you're like, you get halfway, and then you turn around, the Egyptians, here they come. Oh my Lord, So it all it's a beautiful thing altogether. But when you go into the specifics, it really highlights the love that the Lord has, not only for our people, but also the power that he's willing to show how much love He has for us. That's crazy, But your brothers got it.
That's right. That's right. Jump to 1 Kings 18 and 36. Well, actually, no, we got to read the parting. We got to read the water. Actually, you got to read Moses actually dividing the water, right? Because the Lord gave him the son, and he actually did it.
And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get me honor upon Pharaoh.
There you go. So the Lord told Moses what was going to happen, what he needed to do, what was going to happen, and how it was going to play out. Do it. Now, so what was the only thing that was left? Like Nike says, just do it. That was the only thing left, because the Lord prepared everything. Remember, once again, like I've been saying, the Lord has fixed events for certain points of time. It's already set. It's like it's there. Okay, it's already there. You just got to go in and meet it. In the process of time. So the Lord says, at this point in time, like when you look at how they depict timelines, in fictional movies and stories, they depict it like it's frames of different events happening at different points in time. And if you were to look at one frame over here, you'd see what's happening at this point, and then you jump over there and you're like, oh, okay, this is what's happening here. So likewise, the Lord has different points in time where different things happen. And until it's that time, it's not going to happen. So you may be over here, but the Lord says when it's time, you're going to be over here. And at this point, it was time for him to part that sea up. And that's exactly what he did. Go ahead.
And upon all his hosts, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen.
There you go. So why did the Lord do this? To get his honor, so his name may be glorified. Because and that's the reason why he waits and waits and waits until the very last minutest second, and then boom, he does something. Because that shock value, once again, it credits his name because wait a minute, these people were slaves. They were slaves under these very Egyptians. The Egyptians came with their military might. Today, when you hear horses and chariots, you think it's weak because you live in a time period where you have B-2 bombers, nuclear missiles, laser, DEI, direct energy, DEW, direct energy weapons. You have all these kinds of technology, microwave weapons. I mean, things you can't even see. Gatling guns times 10. So hearing arrows and swords and shields and chariots doesn't really sound that threatening. But back then it was. Back then it's kind of like today, the damn whole US military coming after your ass. Like the armada they sent over there to the east to go against Iran. Imagine them sending that shit coming after you. You wondering what the hell is going on here? We just one man. They got the SWAT team, the special forces, the special forces, the Secret Service, special forces, and then their special forces coming after your ass. You got helicopters right around you. You know they got the little ropes, and niggas swing down on the rope and shit, and then they land and they going up all the stairs and shit, all just for you. Yeah, you gonna be a little shaken by that. Yeah, you know, the streets are blocked off. You're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what did I do? oh, how do I even get out of this? That's what it feels like when you think about what they were facing back then. Not just some partly anorexic, partly skinny, dirty Hamite, on a freaking hyena coming after you with a spear in his hand and shit. You know, like one or two of them at least. That's what people think when they hear about they read chariots, Pharaoh and his chariots, like two skinny Africans chasing your ass and shit. They're like, no, this was an actual military might that was coming after them. And the Lord said, not only are you going to see this sign, you're gonna be delivered, and you're gonna watch these enemies perish, all in one. And I'm gonna do it all. You just gotta stand still and watch me do my things. And just as he did back then, and his name was glorified to the point where when they got to Canaan, the cities in there, they were afraid. They said, no, we know your reputation. You know, like the saying goes, your reputation precedes you. They knew their reputation. How do we take down the walls of Jericho? By shouting? When has that happened before? Like, what's his name? Old Father or whatever his name is. That's pretty much what we did over there. You know, we let out that shout, and how? It's vibrations, right? The Lord probably amplified the vibrations of the voice, causing cracks in the walls or whatever, but it was a miracle, you know?
And one thing too, I was doing some research on the city walls of Jericho, and they said archaeologists are saying that the kind of materials that they used to build those walls, it would have physically been impossible for us to actually invade that city if it wasn't for the Lord to actually break it down the way he did. Because it was so fortified, you're not going to be able to break through that shit like, oh, we're just going to storm the city, and nah, you ain't going to do that. And the way Jericho was built, it looks like a small little town, but the walls are so high, so far high that it covers even the highest of the tallest buildings that they have within that city. And it wasn't some big ass place. It was just a small little space, but it was it was like the power center, if you will, right? And the city it looked like an ark when you actually look at how the foundation of it, how it was built. And the Lord had us go around it, right? Once for 7 days straight. And on the seventh day, we went around it 7 times. And on the seventh time, we gave that great shout, all right, blowing the trumpets, calling upon the name of the Lord, and the whole walls came down. The whole entire thing, the whole structure just came down. We could have never broke through that shit if it wasn't for that way the Lord had us go in. So when the Lord scripture says that the Lord is a man of war and he's a God of armies, we are his army, and he's our general, our chief, our commander in chief. So however he wants the war to go, that's how the war is going to go. If the Lord says, in this case, I'm going to give y'all spiritual power to fly into the city, he's going to give us spiritual power to fly into the city, because that's what the operation requires, right? Like, we're like supermen, right? The Lord doesn't need to have, okay, these brothers, they specifically just focus on just the Navy part. Nah. The Lord said, okay, I'm going to turn in your Navy part of your brain where you can actually do these things. You could go into the water. You could do all kinds of different things. So you want to be in the Air Force, I'm going to tune your brain where you can actually manipulate elements to be in the Air Force. Like, you can actually fly and stuff. right? You want to be in the military, the ground troops. I'm gonna give you that power where you could run through. Hey, Jeremiah 51, right? With thee would I break in pieces the nations, right? You have my battle axe and weapons of war. So that's war talk right there, man. A battle axe, a spear, a sword, okay, the bow and the arrow, all right, and ultimately the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the spirit of the Lord, man. Those are all war armaments. Okay, the ultimate shield and buckler is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And you don't need to actually have an armor for that. No, the Lord Himself is your armor. Okay, you have your helmet, the Lord. You got your arm guard, your shield, your shin guards, all that. Your what they call that? Your garment that's in your waist. So your garment's not flying around when you slice niggas up and shit, right? Yeah, all that. That's all through the Lord. Okay, so think about that when the Apostle Paul talks about that in the book of Ephesians, all right, about arming yourself with the Spirit of the Lord. You got to think about all those things. You're always at war constantly. Okay, so you think of the physical battle and you think of the spiritual battle because they all go hand in hand. And if you can overcome the spiritual, the physical is nothing at that point, right? You just have to make sure you conquer the spiritual part. Once you go with that, everything falls in line perfectly. All right, but I just thought I'll add that in there about the deliverance. Sometimes it's not about just deliverance; it's about how the deliverance is being done, because that's the only way it could be done. And if that's the only way, the Lord's going to make that way possible for us. All right, Jabba's got it.
That's right. That's right.
This is Romans 9 and 17 in the NLT. For the scripture says that the Most High told Pharaoh, I have appointed you for the very purpose of displaying my power in you and to spread my fame throughout the earth. Hey, he was appointed for that purpose. That was his whole, since he was born, all right, his whole purpose was to be raised up, to grow up, to become the Pharaoh of Egypt, all right, and for him to be the king when this happened, all right? Much like how we see this shit crashing and burning down, and Trump is just that guy, you know, which is a fucked up lot to have. But it is what it is. That's the Lord's will, all right? And the purpose was for the Lord to display his power and for his fame to go out throughout the earth. So he will lift you up as much as possible. That's why we be looking and we be tight about these elites and everything they're doing and the madness, you know, that they're allowed to do on the earth. But the Lord is really just setting them up for the greatest fall, because the more they get puffed up, the more power they have, the more high-minded they are against the Lord. That's why the scripture talks about the host of the high ones that are on high. Okay, they're at the pinnacle right now. Okay, they have complete dominion pretty much over the earth. Okay, so the Lord will raise you to that point, just so that, hey, as they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Right, just like Goliath. Okay, that was another miracle. You know, that was another example of the Lord expressing his power, because the Lord said, I'm gonna make the biggest, baddest heathen. All right, I'm gonna make this nigga as ugly as possible. All right, I'm gonna give him a gigantic spirit. He's gonna have an armor bearer. Okay, and then the Lord is even describing his spirit just to paint the picture for you of how much of a warrior this dude was. You know, from birth, he was training and killing people. And then here comes King David, a stripling, all right, who did not really have experience in battle, but he did have experience with different animals out in the field. I believe he mentioned the lion and the bear. Yep. And he was able to overcome those things, and the Lord had anointed him. So the spirit was on him already, and that's all he needed. You know, he didn't need to be big and buff. He didn't even need the armor. He put the armor on. He said, man, take this off. You know, I haven't proved it. Yep, there it is. I haven't proved this armor. So I can't rock this. I'm gonna just go out with the spirit of the Lord. And in the name of the Lord, what did he do? He took his head off. In the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that's exactly what the spirit of the Lord is doing now, through this word coming up, which is Yahweh Shai doing it through his hand, which is his service, the prophet. All right, but again, the Lord will bring you to that high pinnacle, just so that when you crash down, it's even worse than imaginable. Because if Esau just got to a certain point and then the Lord just took him down in, like, let's say the 1800s, you know, it wouldn't have had the same effect. Now he got AI, he's getting godlike power. Okay, you know, they can go on. You can ask AI about calculus. I'm like, shit, I wish we had this shit when I was in college. God damn, you can put in calculus, all types of shit, and it'll give you the answer. You see? So that's him trying to be like the Most High and getting to that point. But it says, so you see, the Most High chooses to show mercy to some, and he chooses to harden the hearts of others so they refuse to listen. And that's what he did to him. Harden his heart, puffed him up. Okay? Just the same way that you look at Trump, you look at the elites, because Trump is just the mouthpiece of the elites. They're puffed up. And you can see by how bold they are with things that they're doing now. They're blatantly, now they're saying that if you speak out against AI, you are a domestic tea. If you don't want your water to be poisoned, all right, and have to deal with that noise pollution that they have like a low hum that basically like it never goes away. Your property value tanks, okay, if you are around those AI data centers, man. But now if you have anything to say, guess what? You're a domestic tea. So they're coming out with all types of evil and wickedness, and you Americans are just here like, yo, what's up with the NBA finals, yo? The Knicks made it to the finals, so niggas are happy. Shit, and I hope the Knicks win, not because I'm a fan of the Knicks or whatever, even though I am, but shit, I just want to see the riots and shit, and niggas just go crazy because y'all going to destroy yourselves if that happens. New York is going to go ballistic if that happens, and that could be another way of them ushering in martial law. But getting a little sidetracked. I give it back. That's it. Let's get that. Because once again, it's all about the setup. Look, Esau, as much as he tries to discredit the Lord, he's doing the same thing. Like he's taking all his tactics from the Lord. Like there is only one true God. Esau's trying to play the role of God, so he has to look at some model that's already there. Right? Okay, how does the Most High do this? Oh, okay, this is what he did in the Bible. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do, but flipping it upside down. We're gonna do it in the reverse.
Oh, I was gonna mention, like we showed the boys, the Homelander. How do we make Homelander into just like Messiah type figure? Or just take what was done in the Bible and just do the same thing. Right? That's all. For lack of a better word, the layout is already there. Just copy and just put your face there instead. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what Esau tries to do. But once again, the Most High, it's all about the setup and how it's executed. And it's always perfect with the Lord because he controls every single part of the setup, every single part. And he has the best setup. I mean, the concept of creativity was created by the Lord. Like, imagine that. Creativity was created by the Lord. So you're a creation of the Lord. How are you going to be more creative than the creator of creativity, which he has given to you as his creation?
That's why they don't got no creation. Esau don't got creativity. That's why he always seeks to destroy what's created. The Lord made him opposite. That's why everything Esau does is about inversion of reality. Okay, we have real life. We're gonna take real life and then create our own shit and call it inorganic. Nigga, what? Oh, we got real life things going on? No, forget about the real life world we can live. Let's destroy that. Let's create a simulation of that real life by making it digital. So now you have a metaverse. What the fuck? Dumb shit. That's Esau for you. Oh, men and women have children? Oh, let's do away with children altogether. Now, we're living in the year 2026. You got the least amount of pregnant women on the earth, especially in America. When was the last time you saw a pregnant woman outside? They don't exist anymore. Where they at? Right? It's not like they're hiding somewhere. Where they at? Nobody's getting birth. Nobody's making no babies anymore because it's way too hard to have children in this society. But yet, these devils are creating a society where you can't have no children. But if you want to have children, they have incubators for you. Or we could make genetically incubated babies. All kinds of dumbass shit, man. And that's Esau for you. But again, going back to the point you made, all right, about the data centers and all that, that's all going back to mischief. All right, Esau literally, let's get that real quick. The book of Psalm, chapter 94, and verse 20 says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? Okay, and the ultimate mischief is going to be via the MOTB being mandated, as in, this is the only way you can survive, no buying and selling unless you go through this process. That's the ultimate form of mischief, right? But you also have these mischievous devices that is being pushed around the American land for the American people to have to suffer. Okay, because again, this is all part of the troubles that you face in the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, let's get another one. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, and verse 26. It says, mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet. What is the vision? The truth. Everything we've been saying, these people now are looking for, the Hebrews have been saying this. Now they start to sound like conspiracy theories because they're noticing the things that we were telling them for all these years, right? It says, but the law, it says, then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest and the counsel from the ancients. That's going into what? Amos 8:11. Okay, there'll be a famine where you're not going to be able to get the information that you readily are available to right now, and you're going to be seeking that. But in the time where you seek something, you never find it. Have you noticed that? Every time you're looking for something, you can't find it. But when you're not looking for it, it's right there in your face. You be like, yo, I was looking for this shit. When I was looking for it, how come I couldn't find it? Right? Because the brain is wired a certain way. So you can't find what you can't see. Okay? So when you go to that word mischief, right? And it goes perfectly with what ICR said about these data centers and how they're destroying the people's health. Okay, if you have a farm or cattle around there, it's done away with, right? The noise pollution, all these different things devalues your property. So you got people who might be next to a data center, they can't even move because they weren't notified of these things happening. It just sprung up out of nowhere. They never had to say, are we allowing this? Are we okay with this? Do we vote for this to happen? No, it just happens. And then you realize it, and then you're like, there's nothing I can do about this. It's too late. And then now you can't move because you got to sell this property to go someplace else. But who the fuck is going to sell it to? Nobody's going to buy this shit. So you put people in a case where they have no choice but to either submit or rebel. And if when you rebel, you already know what's going to happen with that. Laws are being instituted right now to make rebellion treated as domestic tea, just like the brother brought out. It's all being done by design right now as we speak, when it's not too much of a threat, when this data center thing is not affecting everyone at the same time. But once it does, and everyone has a some type of way feeling about it, and they want to do something about it, they're gonna be deemed domestic teas, man. Right? When you go to the word mischief, it says evil condition, misfortune, hardship, okay, wickedness, wrongdoing. It says harm or evil considered as the work of some agent or due to some cause. Literally, that's what the word mischief means, man. Okay, harm or evil considered as the work of a or of some agent or due to some cause, man. That speaks perfectly to Second Thessalonians, right there, the man of sin, the son of perdition. Okay, all his works, all his words is a testament to who the fuck he is, man. All we're doing is just pointing out, hey, this is the man. It's just a matter of time before the whole world realizes Isaiah 14. Is this the man that weakened the nations? Right? Yes, this is that man. Okay, and his name starts with Esau. But y'all brothers got it.
Probably irritated by now. That's it. That's it.
Psalms 94:7 in the NLT. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai isn't looking, they say. And besides, the God of Israel doesn't care. Think again, you fools. When will you finally catch on? Is he deaf, the one who made your ears? Is he blind, the one who formed your eyes? He punishes the nations. Won't he also punish you? He knows everything. Doesn't he also know what you are doing? Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai knows people's thoughts. He knows they are worthless. Joyful are those you discipline, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, those you teach with your instructions. You give them relief from troubled times until a pit is dug to capture the wicked. Yeah. Hey, so these people think that the Lord, the one who formed your eye to see, the one who gave you your ears on your head, the one who gave you the sense of touch, that he's not understanding what you're doing. You see? And that is the pride of men, okay? That is their pride. They don't think that the Lord who did all these marvelous things. I was listening in on brothers earlier, y'all was talking about nature and the beauty of the Lord's creation, man. God alone shows you there's a creator, man. All of the different colors that fills up nature, man. You know, recently I've been focused on the color green. Green represents life, man. Yahweh Shai is the vine. Okay, that was spirit. The bird just flew right in front of us. Rakhtha Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. But you have you know, green represents new beginnings. It also represents being stable in troublous time. Because if you have a desert and then you see that green oasis, that represents salvation for you, pretty much. All right. I think there's a scripture in Jeremiah where it says that you will be green in the time of drought. So the elect are like that green tree that's never going to go, never going to dry out and wither away. Okay, but this world is all gonna wither away, man. So hey, that's just another aspect of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. But again, going back to the precept, it says that there's gonna be a pit dug for the wicked. All right. And that's what we're waiting upon, that judgment, because they think that the Lord is not seeing what they're doing, but yet it's coming out. All types of shit that they're doing is coming out. And nobody's going for the bullshit no more. They've been rolling out this alien shit, and all the comments is, yeah, all right, cool, man. We'll drop the Epstein file. No, ain't nobody having that shit. Ain't nobody believing that shit. You know, oh, it was a humanoid, and it's some, like, this shit is 1994 level technology. Y'all couldn't get a better quality video. And even if it was, it could be an angel or something that they don't understand. But either way, the elect is not going for the okie doke. Even these dumbass Americans ain't falling for your shit no more. Even the MAGAs are looking and saying, damn, what am I getting out of this? Polluted water? You know? So if somebody can make a video of a cat dancing, you know what I'm saying? You know?
They got that new thing with the dog. But if you grab me, I'm gonna fight you.
Yeah, bro, I seen that meme like 10 times. I'm like, damn. That shit was funny. But these niggas is just, it's just for vanity purposes. Like all of this, and you know the irony of it all is this, is with all the knowledge of AI, like you have access to more knowledge than ever before, yet the truth is still scarce. Yet you cannot find this truth, man. Even though it's out here on the internet, just like everything else. You can look up damn near anything now. I want to look up how to make this type of food with that type of souffle, this type of temperature, but I want to slow cook it in this way with this type of sides, and it'll pop up, boom, and show you exactly how to do it. I'm looking for this obscure product. All right, this one screw that was on the bottom of this thing that I needed, and you get the product code and you can find it. But yet, with all of that knowledge that they still have not got the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. With all of that, these people are gonna get a device implanted in their body so they can become like the most or godlike, right? And they're still not gonna have the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Still not gonna know a damn thing, because that same device you put in your body is what the Most High hates, and that's gonna have your ass get melted. So if you knew so much, why the fuck did you do it? If you didn't take heed to the word that came out.
Yeah, sorry, my eyes irritated. But just to add on to what the brother was saying, that shows you that there's a problem with the people. Like it says in Proverbs, if I'm not mistaken, train up a child the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart. Salakia. Because the thing about the people, like the brother said, with all this information, but yet people are doing dumb things. People are not seeking out any type of information, no type of righteousness or anything like that. Because why? From the beginning, they've been taught to what? Just do a whole bunch of dumb stuff. Here it is, you have, what's his name, Adrian Broner, who I believe was like a boxing champion one time. Now he's out here with his big ass belly, just doing a whole bunch of dumb stuff, trying to talk to sex. It's like, yo, dude, you were once the pinnacle of boxing. Like, you were known, and now you're just here with this young dude. I think his name was Dean, something like that. And now, now you're just doing this type of stuff. But it shows you, like I was saying, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's older, he will not depart. People have been known to chase folly. So even if there is something that can teach them information that can make them better, they're not going to use it. Like, especially for women. A lot of women these days don't know how to cook. You would think, hey, use AI, right? AI is like, they're making it like a service to people. Hey, use AI to teach you how to cook, learn how to cook. They're not doing that. They'd rather do the cat videos, make this type of stuff, because that's what they'd rather chase after. Folly type stuff. I'm sorry, my eyes fucking hurt. Me too. Yeah. You're good. Hey, and speaking on that, I just saw the comment that Zaquan posted, and it's a good point, right? He was saying, like, you got people that'll say, like, repost this, and you'll get like 7 years of good luck, or if you skip it, you're gonna get 7 years of bad luck. You got people that actually gonna repost it, and they gonna, no, I gotta repost it. I don't want the bad luck. But then when you tell them about the faith of the Lord, that can't be real. That ain't no way that's real. So somehow, by somebody just telling you to repost, by you clicking a button on your phone to repost something with just software running in the background, that somehow controls the events and the things the Lord has planned to give you 7 years of good luck somehow, right? But if you just magically don't, you get 7 years of bad luck. But when it comes to actually believing upon the true and living power, who says, I'm in control of all this, that can't be real. It just can't be real.
You see how messed up the minds of people actually are? And it shows that, and that in itself highlights how what the Lord said, the truth in what he said, that he has blinded these people. Because even like a normal ignorant person would have enough common sense to see through something like that. But these people, it's like supernaturally uncommon. Like they're supernaturally dumb. And that's not normal. It's divine. This is what it looks like when the Lord blinds people from the truth. They're like society that you see today. This is what it looks like when the Lord actually blinds people from the truth. This isn't normal. It's not normal for people to actually be this ignorant, to be this naive, to be this like I don't even know what to call it. Yeah. There you go. It's not normal. This is these are abnormal levels of it. But that's because the Lord, that's why he called it a slumber, right? Making their ears heavy, right? Making their heart fat. This is what that looks like. And we thank the Lord that he didn't put us in that predicament or that condition. But anyway, let's jump back to where we're at over there. Once again, going back to the signs, wonders, and miracles. And there are many accounts of it in the scriptures that the Lord did, New and Old Testament, Apocrypha included. So the Lord really, he has spiritual power in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, in the Apocrypha. So why not in this sign? Of course it's going to be in this sign. Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 17 and 8. And it reads, and the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, arise.
And this was Elijah. Go ahead.
Get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there.
So basically, go up north, go to the territory of Zidon, and go and stay there for a while. Go on.
Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So he arose.
So the Lord said, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. But what's interesting is, when he got there, it didn't seem like the widow woman knew who he was. He told her what's going on, and we're gonna read it. And she's like, oh, I'm just gonna go do this. But then he's like, no, you go make something for me first. So why did the Lord say he had commanded a widow woman to sustain him? Once again, it's fixed events in a fixed point in time. Because what did she end up doing? Did she not end up sustaining him? Did she know that before the point in time when she would do it? No. She found out at the same time the Lord has set it up to where she was going to do what he said she was going to do. Right?
So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of sticks. And he called to her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink.
Yeah, because he came there. All right, and this goes to show you the dynamic of the ancient world, right? In the ancient world, you could do that, right? As a man, you go there, you can ask her, she would do it. In this world, you see you even ask the chick for the time. She calling the cops on your ass. I got a man. I just asked for the time. Yeah, I just told you I got a man. I just want the time, Dad. Look, leave me alone. That's these chicks. These chicks are just gone. They're detached from reality. Okay, that's it. They're detached from reality. And the Most High is going to bring reality like I don't even know what to call, like a wrecking ball, like Miley Cyrus swinging in on a wrecking ball in that nasty ass music video, or skinny ass legs and shit. That's how it's gonna come. She's gonna cut the reality prophecy gonna come in like a wrecking ball, bam, right into their face. They're gonna be walking up, bam, and then they're gonna wake up. Right?
Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink.
Mhm.
And as she was going to fetch it,
But she was gonna go do it. You try that shit today and see if you don't end up on Instagram Live or Facebook getting roasted. Or what they do now is their little makeup stories. They call it story time. Bitch will get on front, she's doing her makeup, and she's telling a story. Yo, y'all would not believe what happened to me today. I was out here going about my business, not bothering anybody. And this random guy comes up to me, asking about me to fetch him some water. Imagine that. With a woman here on Facebook Live back during the prior to even a couple thousand years ago, talking about some So he's talking about I gotta fetch him some water. Some water. What does nigga think he is? That's basically how they act on it. Then you go up the comment section. Yes, sis, you did nothing wrong. He had it coming. You know, I love the feminine energy. It's giving. Oh my gosh. And then they do that this little shit. Oh, yo. It's mental retardation. That's what it is. Like, yes. I'm like, yo, somebody.
Like an action figure where you pull the string and it has like five different sayings. That's all of these bitches. They got the same 5 or 6 sayings that they cycle through.
Yep.
Try to have a conversation, bro. Bro, there's nothing up here. It's nothing. It's an empty cavity, bro.
Yep. Right.
Brain is an empty cavity.
You got it, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say she also, to your point about how women are today, she also didn't call Elijah a bum because of him. Because you know today we're like, oh, so you a bum ass nigga, so you ain't got nothing on you. What's wrong with you? But, look, because back then people were more hospitable.
Yeah.
Somebody comes, it's like, yo, you would look to help them out because when you read like the Manual and Custom book, they understood what it was like back then for a person to be on a long journey and things like that. People weren't looking, oh, this guy must be a bum. He ain't got nothing. Now, you do have caution. You would be aware of people, but you wouldn't look at somebody that, oh, he's a bum, he's a nobody. Today, that's how people look at people because people have lost that hospitable nature.
That's right. But she was on her way to go do it. And the Lord is going to revert female nature back to its original sense.
Hey, you got this one video I'm thinking of. I think Brother Shamyar might send it to me. But it was a Eve, and she was like, I feel bad for you women that you married and you ain't got no porch, you ain't got no nothing. Where's your husband at? He ain't blessing you up. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yo, that's another example of being lifted up just to be brought down. Because that's the expectation. Never mind, you know, what if your man goes into hard time? He might have had it at one point. What if he goes into hard time? You still gonna stay? No. You disloyal bitch. You know? But watch, it's gonna see women like that. What do you think's gonna happen to her? She's not worthy of none of that type of treatment that she's talking about. And everybody in the comments saying it, you got a few dumbass Eves. Yes, clock it. Whatever the fuck that means. I'm saying, you know, your judgment is gonna be clocked, bitch. The Lord's gonna clock that judgment on top of your head. You're gonna be dying, starving, of famine. You're not gonna be worried about no porch. You're gonna be worried about, can I get a Pop-Tart? All right? Can I get some Captain Crunch? You know, you got any grass or anything? They're gonna be that desperate. Hey, it says that I think it was dove's dung that sold for a certain donkey's head. You know, it's just like a nigga home. I'll eat your fucking shit. That's the type of timing these bitches gonna be on.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Got it.
Go ahead.
1 Kings 17 and 11. And it reads, and as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. And as she said, as the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die.
Yeah. She's basically letting him know, look, I ain't got nothing for you. You know, just matter of fact, I'm preparing my last supper now for me and my son. And then that's it. But guess what? The Lord had ordained it to where not only would she sustain Elijah, but she herself would also be sustained along with her son. Because now they were going to have a prophet in their household. And the Lord is going to bless them for that. For taking care of his servant. And that's something that a lot of people, they underestimate, is that if you take care of, look, if you saw somebody's missing child and you took care of them, you protected them, you make sure they were safe, and then eventually you deliver them back to their parents safely, and let's say their parent was somebody rich or famous or whatnot, you don't think they would reward you heftily? Of course they would, because you took care of their loved one. So likewise, if us being servants of the Lord, how you treat us, that has an effect on how the Lord treats you as well. Okay? Because if you did if you did the opposite, of taking care of their loved one, what do you think they're gonna come? The kind of reward they're gonna give you. It ain't gonna be love. It's gonna be vengeance. So likewise, how you treat the prophets of the Lord is gonna affect how the Lord treats you.
I think if we move down, it might be a little better. I don't see as much potential.
Way down here.
Yeah, like a little bit down that way.
We got just a few more minutes to go.
Yeah, so-
We can do it, right?
This is Matthew chapter 25 and verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, and inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered, or and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of these least of my brethren, ye have done it unto me. So just adding on to what you said, very straightforward. It's like you just holding somebody down with something. It's like, yo, I saw what you did for him, so I got you anytime you need something. Because for lack of a better word, the charity that you have for my friend, I'm gonna hold you down with something. I saw what you did, and you looked out for him.
That's right. Exactly. So guess what? The Lord sustained the we're about to read it, but he sustained the one woman for Elijah's sake as well. Go ahead.
1 Kings 17 and 13, and it reads, And Elijah said unto her, Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me therefore a little cake first.
Now, why did he say that? Because he already knew. The Lord already commanded it, so that's what it's going to be. Now, she herself, she's like, damn. So, like, what you mean, make you a little cake first? I only got one serving. Talking about make you a cake first. But when she went and did it, what ended up happening? That's when she saw the miracle. That's when she wondered. That's when she saw the sign. Oh, this guy, this ain't just a regular man. And she eventually goes on to say it. Right?
Go, but make me therefore a little cake first, and bring it unto me. And after, make for thee and for thy son.
Yeah, so you take care of me first, and then after that, you go and make it. That's it. You go and make it for you and your son. And she went and did it. Now you think, once again, a modern day woman would have done that? Girl, and you will not believe what he said to me after that. They first go and tell me to get him some water like I'm a waitress, and then he gonna tell me that I gotta put him before my son. See, this is the problem with men today. If you got a man you gotta leave him. You gotta leave. Matter of fact, all you women gotta go single now. That's the kind of bullshit they out here talking on social media. And that's the kind of stuff look. I was watching the video. The Elder Apostle Tahar re-uploaded it on his channel. It was like maybe 2 minutes or so. And it was I think it was like nobody wants an old woman. And in there was a chick explaining basically like things that five signs.
The billboard.
Yeah, 5 signs.
The problem.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I found out on Instagram. It's like, listen, number one, no nigga wants an old bitch.
There you go.
She was like, two, you're not gonna stop a man from fucking with other men. And I forgot the other one.
Other
Yeah,
women,
she went
other women.
about 5. And then she gave a bonus at the bottom.
Yeah, other women.
Oh, yeah, man.
But yeah, she did mention she mentioned that dudes don't give a damn about your degree.
Well,
They don't give a damn about that shit. So going back to the point, I forgot the point, but we're gonna get back to the point. So going back to the point, he tells her this, a modern day woman wouldn't do that. But reality check, that's the point. The reality check is a lot of women are gonna get a reality check when times get hard. In fact, they're getting it now. And the reality check is gonna get harder and harder. It's like every new phase of reality is a slap. And then they get slapped and they get in the car, turn the camera, and they start crying. Because that's the Lord put in the squeeze and the squeeze and the squeeze. And what it's gonna do is the ones that are sensible, and the Lord is gonna have mercy on, I got you. is gonna push them closer and closer to the men of the Lord. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta, because I saw a video, the elder brother Amwan Gabar posted it, and you had a chick in here, and she was recording. It was her man, and her friend in the back. And her friend is like, she recorded, she said that her friend said, why she gotta work hard for a man when her friend got a man? Implying, if you already found a good one, why do I gotta go look? We can just, you know what I'm saying? Why I gotta struggle when you're doing good? Now, they may have said it jokingly, but the fact that that's even something to joke about, like, you wouldn't joke about endangering your loved one. So if you start joking about that, then it starts to become a possibility. Look, that's what people, great seducers do. They incorporate that energy of like laughter and, you know, sort of like nonchalance and joking. There's a post that I saw, and it was like, you gotta watch out. If you're a chick, you gotta watch out for funny guys. Because you laugh, and next thing you know, your clothes are off. You know, and that's what they do. They use humor and comedy to just diffuse, you know what I'm saying, lower your defenses. Then they'll joke about something, and before you know it, you find out they're not joking when you're already in it. Just to add on, there's a saying, behind every joke is some truth. So her saying that is like, look, yeah, I'm joking, but like if the opportunity comes, like, yo, I'm ready to get dicked down by your husband too. I could be woman number 2. And, you know, he ain't have no problem with it. He laughing and shit, showing teeth. So you know he was happy.
Listen, if your man can't pull more than another woman, then most women, deep down, they don't respect that. You know what I'm saying? But they want you to be a man up until it's time for you to really be a man. You know, a man is naturally wants to have more than one wife if he can afford it. So these women, man, they want you to be just all about them because they're selfish. You gotta spread the love because the salvation is going to be dependent on being with a man of the Lord for a lot of these women. And if you just focus, you think it's just going to be just you. Nah, there's a lot of other women that are going to need to be delivered too. Yeah. All right, so they're looking at you like, damn, it's going to change from getting mad that your husband, that your man has another woman to you're going to get mad if he doesn't, right? Because that's going to mean more help.
Oh, you don't know. And what you said, because I saw a video. Yeah, I'm always seeing videos, but it's all right. So there was a video of once again the truth behind comedy. You had this chick. It's animated. So a man is in an Uber coming home, and he calls her. He's like, "Yo, babe, I just left the club, and man, let me tell you, man, it was crazy in there. You had all these chicks, these fine shorties walking all around, and she's listening. She's like, and he's like, but not one of them even looked my way. He said they acted like I didn't even exist, like I was the ugliest man on the planet Earth. I mean, shit, not even one approach. And as he's saying this, he starts getting mad because in her mind, she's like, yo, talking about what? He said not even one? Yeah, you ugly? And like, what's wrong with this guy? And in her mind, she started getting, she's like, no. So she gets to the point where she's like, listen, nigga. Turn around and get back in the club. And if you don't get at least one chick to talk to you, don't even think about coming back. And that's the whole point. Like, people want what's good. And in today's society, what's good is valued by how much people want it. You ever see people wearing some ugly ass shit? And you're like, yo, this is clearly ugly. Why do people keep getting it? Because everybody else is on it. They use slang that doesn't make sense. Why do they do that? Because everybody else is on it. Is on it. You know, so that's like value is estimated by how much is desired by something else or by other people. If that's why the dilemma, or not even the dilemma, but the little shock that people have is, why is it that when I was single, these chicks ain't want me? The second I'm in a relationship and then the chick is bad, all of a sudden all these chicks are now, you know what I'm saying, coming around and shit, because they're like, well, if she looks good and she's with you, sign good, they must be saying good about you. Because once again, I see she with you. And the more people that desire you, now they really got to be saying good about you. That's the psychology. That's the mindset. All right. So anyway, let's jump back on here. Gonna try to run through it.
1 Kings 17 and 14, and it reads, for thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth.
So imagine that. Imagine like you had like a cup of rice, or you had like this can and it was full of rice, and that's all you had. And you're like, yo, I'm gonna cook this, but once this is finished, we're done. There's no more rice. And he's telling you, man, the Lord is telling you, no, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and make the rice. Matter of fact, make 4 cups. You know, I'm a little hungry today. And then we all gonna eat. And you want, but there's only like one of this. How are we making 4 cups? Well, we're gonna make it. The Lord said it's not gonna fail. So she's pouring the rice, she's pouring the rice, she's pouring the rice, and guess what? It keeps on pouring. Like Elisha with the oil. Some way, somehow, this 1 cup of rice is now more than like 3 bags of rice if you had in your kitchen. And now you've gone maybe 6 months to a year eating off of 1 cup of rice, as opposed to some doomsday prepper who had prepped for 6 months worth of rice that they had in their crib. Why? Because the Lord said it so. So she's like, yo, every day you come back to the same meal and you use it to make food, and there's always some left. However the Lord did it, he did it, and it preserved them.
Then that big stash that he got could get mold, could get some kind of plague on it, and they stored all that for nothing. And you got 1 little bag, you know, and that's an endless bag. You just keep pouring it. Every time you pour it, boom, it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. It's like, yo, you look in there, it looks like the same amount. And it never fails. And that's the type of miraculous thing that we about to witness, man. I don't want to rush to die.
Because it was preserved with faith. That's why it was always there for him. And that's how the Lord deals. Miracles. And it seems like such on a small scale, but it's on a large scale at the same time. Now, you think Elijah was worried about food? No. Then the scriptures say, at destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh. Because when you got a situation like that, you like, like, bro, I'm not even thinking about food because it's not a concern for me. Go ahead.
And she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days.
So she was obedient. Now, what happened if she was a rebellious one and said, "No, I ain't doing that. You go make your own stuff," and she left? She would have done truly as she said. She would have made the last meal for her and her son, and then the Lord would have probably had it slip while she's prepared it and she's taking it, and then the chip falls and then it pours. And you know, in the ancient world too, you ain't dealing with like marble floors. You probably got like, like dust, depending on where you at. Maybe she went outside. They were gonna eat it outside, and it fell into the dust, and then the wind blew, and then the sand got all mixed up in there. And then the pig manifested out of nowhere and came and ate it. So even if you wanted the little scraps, you ain't getting it. Then it looks at you like, next time, listen, bitch. And then runs off.
Hey, but you know, a key part of that whole entire story was prior to Elijah actually meeting the widow woman, the Lord told Elijah, "Go, I have a servant there for you. Like I've already prepared someone who's going to take care of your eating and all that. It's already been that. What was that precept that says, make no provisions, right? For the Lord is going to basically take care of everything. So it's the same thing that we're going to be going through, where the Lord is going to tell you, just go. And I already have people there who's going to take care of everything. Where you going to stay at, there's going to be somebody there waiting for you. What you going to eat, what time you going to eat, where you go. Everything is already set up ready for you. You just go there, and the person that you're looking for will be there looking for you. You see? So the Lord already has everything set up. We just have to have enough faith to see it through, man. All right? Chabba's got it.
That's it. So let's keep going.
And the bearer of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail.
There you go. And that's the beauty of the Lord, right? Just as he said, so it came to pass. And he did that in the past, very creatively, very meticulously. And he's going to do a lot more miraculous things in today's day and age. Lord might just tell you, yo, pick up that brick, and it's going to turn into the best damn sandwich BLT you've ever had. And you eat that BLT, and it's going to sustain you for the next 2 weeks. Well, damn, Lord, I'll do it. You know, so in that case, you're like, yo, I'm literally not stressed. Like I can, wherever I am, I'm good. You know? Go ahead.
According to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah.
Right. So according to the word of the Lord, it came to pass, right? Well, the same word of the Lord says, we're going to eat when the rest are hungry. We're going to drink when the rest are thirsty. So why are we stressed? We're not. Go ahead.
And it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman the mistress of the house fell sick, and his sickness was sore that there was no breath left in him.
Yeah, so now over time, as they're eating this stuff, something happens, and then the widow woman's son gets sick. Right? Go ahead.
And she said unto Elijah, What have I to do with thee, O thy man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance?
Now, he said, what? Sin or sins?
My sin.
Okay, so we don't know what she did, but we know we're not perfect, right? So whatever the case is, she probably felt, her conscience hit her or something, and she was afraid. She's like, yo, I know you're a man of God, but you're here and now my son just fell sick. So is this like really judgment? Is this like, that's what she said, have you come to call my sin to remembrance? Go ahead.
And to slay my son?
So once again, you know how women are, right? She's gonna blame him, of course. Because, well, if the Lord is dealing with you on a divine level, then he can use you to cast judgment upon me. So is that really why you're here? Did you come here to take my son away as judgment for me? You're like, damn. Lord sent me here, so we both been eating for the past couple months. Something happens to your son, it's my fault. How is that? Go ahead.
And he said unto her, Give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom.
Now, another characteristic of the men in the ancient world. Did you see Elijah stop and say, hold on, bitch, what? Did you know what? Now you definitely gonna die. You see, I didn't do nothing to him, but now you accusing me. How did I do this to you? He didn't get into it. He did not even, it's like he didn't even hear what she said. He didn't go into the back and forth and get drawn in there. So you accusing me of harming your son. When did I harm? How would I have done that? Oh, I don't know. He said this and that. I don't know. Maybe you put something in the rice. We've been eating the same rice. I don't know. You a man of God, right? So maybe you the man of the devil. you know how it goes. But he didn't get engaged in that. He's like, yeah, I already know what's going on here. Go ahead.
And he took him out of her bosom and carried him up into a loft where he abode.
So he probably had like maybe it's a upper section or a separate area where, she had for him where he would stay. So he takes the child over there. Go ahead.
And laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourn by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again.
So now, how did he know to do that? What made Elijah say, let me stretch myself upon him 3 times and let me pray unto the Lord? Why? The Spirit directed him, right? The Spirit directed him to do that. But why would he go ahead and even do that in the first place? Because he had faith that the Lord could revive the child. I mean, the Lord been feeding you with ravens. Everything the Lord has said so far has happened. Go ahead.
And the Lord heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again.
See that? So just like the Lord heard the voice of Elijah, the Lord hears our voices now. He hears your voices when you pray. See that? He hears your voices when you pray. He hears your voices when you're doing a lesson. He hears your voices when you're doing all of that. Right? The Lord hears it. So that's good and bad. Right? It's bad for people who think that you're hiding from the Lord. And it's good because no matter where you are, don't worry about it. Even when you pray in your head quietly, the Lord hears that. All right? He knows the inward thoughts of man. So he heard Elijah, and then what? And that means that even if you don't get an answer, doesn't mean that the person didn't hear you. That's what society today teaches you, right? Somebody could be standing, if Shalimar is standing right next to me, and I'm not looking at him, I say something to him, and he doesn't respond, immediately I'm thinking he didn't hear me. How would he not have possibly heard me? He's standing right there.
I'm sorry, but you remind me of my mother. I do that shit all the time. I was dead looking in the fucking eyes. I'm like, listen, I can hear you. I just don't have nothing to say. Because I understand what you're saying. And whatever you're telling me, Salah, I'm going to fucking, I don't have to say yes to say I understand or hear you. I can just look at you and be like, okay,
That's it.
I don't have to fucking say something. Salah.
No, you're good. But that's the exact example. That's the exact example. They think that unless you acknowledge me right then and there, you probably didn't hear
But
me.
you didn't say it. How do I know?
How do I know?
I'm looking at you.
So I hope. You know, but once again, that's what society today teaches. But somebody can hear you and it's not saying anything. And sometimes that's how it is with the Lord. He hears you, but it's not time to say anything or do anything.
Did he not tell Moses that when Moses was going to the Lord and asking, Lord, what do we do? We at the sea now, and the Egyptians are coming after us, high heat. What do we do? And then the Lord was like, go forward. Why are you coming to me for? Just keep going, right? So in that case, he could have just ignored Moses and then made Moses just make that move, or he answered him and gave him another option, which is keep doing what you've been doing. This is not where the story ends. It's just about to begin. Keep going. You haven't even seen the beginning yet, and you started to complain. Keep going, man. Right? Sometimes we have to remember that when you pray to the Lord and you ask the Lord for things, you don't expect it. Don't put an expectation on it. Like don't limit yourself and sometimes even shoot yourself in the foot proverbially, right? By having some type of your own set expectation on when it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. No. When you place an order, you don't care who's going to be doing the delivery, right? It could be FedEx, it could be Amazon, it could be UPS. It doesn't matter. As long as the delivery is made, right? But the process of, okay, you just place everything in the cart, you have to pay for it, and then you have to wait for it to be processed, and then they'll tell you, oh, it's going to take about 5 to 7 business days or 3 days shipping or whatever the case may be. With the Lord, it's different. Similar, but different. In a sense, all you do is place the order when you pray. When you pray, every time you pray, that's an order that you've placed an order right there.
The request.
A request. There you go. Make it like, oh, let me get that real quick in the book of Philippians, right? The Apostle Paul said about making requests made to the Heavenly Father. Philippians 3, or is it 4 or 6? Let's see.
I think it's 4.
4 and 6, right? It's the book of Philippians chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be made known unto the Heavenly Father. Okay, and that's all you got to do. As long as you have faith, right? Be careful for nothing, meaning don't worry about anything, no matter what it is. And I was giving you the example about yesterday, how I went through something where the first thing I thought about was, oh Lord, wow, you're trying to show us that you've increased our level of faith to a point where we could come to you on a instance basis and you gonna answer instantly. There was a time where you asked the Lord for sign, it could happen instantly, depending on the situation. But now we've reached a point where we could call the Lord, we could call upon the name of the Lord, and instantly He'll give us a solution that within 5 minutes we'll get the solution. Meanwhile, we've been out here laboring for the past 9 hours, and nobody can help us. But you call upon the Lord, literally, you just sit down, relax. Oh Lord, why didn't I come to you in the first place? Why am I here just running around in circles and not getting no solution and I'm getting frustrated? And then boom, He said, do this, do that. Within 3 minutes, problem solved. You're like, oh Lord, what? This whole time, you see? So it's the same thing with the Lord. Once you cast your prayer to the Lord, have faith that it's being done. The same amount of faith that you be having when you place an order at Amazon on the Amazon website because you know it's going to happen because you paid for it. Same thing with the Lord. You paid for it with your faith. You made the request and you paid for it with your faith. If you have enough faith, you will see that thing. You just got to be enough. You have to be patient enough to actually receive that order, right? If you place an order, it says it's going to be there in 5 days, and now I need this shit in the next 24 hours. Oh, I'm just going to cancel the order. You going to cancel the order, or you going to sit there and you're going to wait? You're going to sit there, you're going to wait. Same thing with the Lord, man. You're going to wait. It could take months. Sometimes it could take years. Sometimes it could take seconds. Regardless, once you ask the Lord for something, you have to be willing to wait by having patience to see it through. And guess what? If you wait long enough, you will see the hand of the Lord in your life where you could never even imagine. Like, Lord, I didn't think this was possible. But with the Lord, all things are possible. All things are possible. All right? That brother's got it.
All right, done. Finish off on here.
1 Kings chapter 17 and 23. And Elijah took the child and brought him down out of the chamber into the house and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, See, thy son liveth.
So Elijah prayed, he had faith, he did what the Lord told him to do, and boom, presented the son live and well. Elijah didn't panic when the whatever happens to the son happened. He didn't lose his mind. He wasn't, no. I mean, yo, he served the Father of spirits. What are you afraid of? Anything is possible. Like, there's literally nothing that's impossible with the Lord. If you have enough faith. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And the woman said to
This
Elijah,
is the key part right here. Right? Going back to the whole concept of the lesson about signs, wonders, and miracles. Go ahead.
Now by this I know that thou art a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in thy mouth is truth.
There you go. Now, prior to this, she called him man of God. But when she witnessed this, when she saw it, when she saw the signs, when she wondered at the miracle, he said, now by this, not only do I know that you're a man of God, but the word of God that is in your mouth is truth. I got to come up real close so you understand what I'm saying. All right. It is truth. And that's what the Lord is going to do again. Okay. He's going to do it again to magnify his name. Just like Yahushua did. What did Yahushua say? He said, Lord, magnify me so I can magnify you, or I can glorify you. So likewise, Yahushua is going to glorify us, right? He's going to give us power so we can use that to glorify him, because it's through his name. Just like Peter said when he was with John and they healed the lame man, he said, when they went into the temple and people would look at him, he said, don't look at us as though it's any power of us. It's Yahushua, the same Yahushua that was crucified and put on the cross. It is through his name that we perform these miracles. So the Lord is going to bless us to be able to magnify his name, which is in turn going to magnify the Father, because he has put everything under Yahushua and Yahushua under him. And that's that. So it's just a matter of time as we approach that fixed point in time when the Lord says, all right, it's go time. And at that point, there's no stopping it. You just got to embrace it or you get left behind. I don't know about you, but we ain't getting left behind. You know, we come full force, arms open and all, like a big back in BBQs. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what is it? Dallas BBQs. That's right. Yeah, how come you got to close the store down? But yeah, that was pretty much it on that, brother. Got anything else? Okay, you got something out, Haran? All right, cool. So with that, we're going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect, pleasing unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. And in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Ba'asham Brakak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom to the elect. Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua.